Alright, there's been a lot of speculation on how you can get an iPad and a Timecode Slate app much cheaper than, buying a real Denneki, like a $1,200 Timecode Slate. Well, there's definitely a reason why you would want those before this, but I think I might have found a very difficult way to make this work. It's a little bit more time consuming and not as easy as just having the real thing, but it does seem to work, and I'll show you how. This will be kind of a long tips and tutorial here. So what I've got, you'll see that I've made a custom case for it, is the, I'll take this off. We got the movie Slate app. This is about a $30 app running, and there is a $50 in-app purchase, which you absolutely need. It's the Timecode Sync in-app purchase for $50. That's from Denneki, so it's about as good as it gets without actually buying one of their actual slates. It's going to be really scattered, I'll tell you really fast. I've got it on a black background because it's hard for a camera to see those numbers clearly with a white background just fleshing out the numbers. So that's one tip already, to go with the black. The reason why I've made this is obviously scrapped from a dumb slate. I've cut it down to size and whatnot, is that outside this screen is very hard to see, and even to an extent, let's see where that light is. Where's my overhead light? See, it's a glare nightmare. Those little cheap anti-glare screens really don't do much. It makes it kind of more of a... There's still glare on the screen if you put an anti-glare on the iPad, so it really doesn't work. It just makes a soft glare. In the end, it's still a nightmare to see the information on the screen. This guy is the leftovers from the sticks that I got. One nice little feature about Movie Slate, and it's one of the other reasons you want it, is that it can actually use the clap, and latency doesn't seem bad at all. So, really fast, people are going to drop your slate. It's going to happen. An iPad's not going to deal with that very well. So my suggestion, instead of getting one of those traditional covers, smart covers for your iPad, and then using what's already on the market, the iCan iPad holder with sticks on the top. The reason I don't suggest that is because it's just a smart cover. Someone's going to drop that, and there's no protection for your iPad. I bought it's the Griffin Survivor, I think. Griffin Survivor case. And I've built this custom case around it out of some really cheap, I think this you find in the drawer section of a hardware store. I think it's so you can make a rolling drawer. Some elbows, and what I did was, to get it out easily, I got little clamps so that can come off easily, and then you can get the iPad out. So getting into the actual timecode capability and testing if it's actually a legitimate time, which I actually have found that it can hold pretty good time with very little sway if proper adjustments are done. The unit has, you can calibrate the lag on the time code, and there's a little bit of work to be done with it, but you can find that it can actually hold with little lag and low latency if you come in here, do a lot of calibration. Now, if you keep it tethered, I mean, it doesn't sway. It does very well. What you have to get is, I'm going to have timecode coming off of my sound devices, which we need to put into free run. Okay. It's a 5-pin LEMO. I've got a cable that goes out to LEMO 3.5 and BNC. The 3.5 that comes with these will not work. You need a special cable. It's attenuated cable for that, and you'll find it on their Movie Slate's website. There's a link for it. It's BNC to 3.5 attenuated, and I'm just going to put the phone down for a moment to connect that BNC. So now we are connected, and if you have the option already set up, it will take, once you plug in, it should detect it automatically and start receiving that time code, but apparently I don't have that set up. Because right now it should be that. So, auto receive. That's what I thought I already had on. So we'll unplug this. Plug it back in. There we go. Love to see if I can get both of these in the same shot. You can pause the video to see if it is truly in sync or not. Alright. Now, if you had a situation where you maybe had a very long BNC cable running into the Slate, you got a situation where you're pretty stationary for the shoot, you can leave it plugged in. It's not going to drift out of time, but it's not realistic. You're most likely going to have to take it out, which should auto jam if you have that. Well, missed it. There's an option for auto jam when you disconnect the cable. Can't remember if I've got that or not because I've had a different setup that I'll mention in a minute. So here's a problem. iPads don't have the high quality clock that or crystal that a timecode Slate would have. That's why everybody in the world isn't running around with this cheap solution. What you can do, and I can't show it to you right now because I'm using my iPhone to record this, is there is a way that you can keep your iPhone or iPod Touch wired in to the unit. You can just throw it in one of your little side pockets or something in your bag, and you can have your timecode generator constantly be running time into your iPhone with the app running, and then through Bluetooth have time sending from your iPhone to your iPad. And a little bit more of the LTC lag adjustments and latency adjustments need to be played with between the iPhone and the iPad, but I have found that you can actually keep time synced by sending it hardwired from iPhone through Bluetooth to the iPad. It's tedious compared to just spending that $1,200, but it does work. So that being said, one of your other problems that you're going to run into with the iPad, well, it's under there. But your battery life. Battery life is insane. It's nasty on these things. My suggestion, go out and buy a couple of these. Here, I think there's a 14,000. Or no, this is my 30,000 milliamp per hour. Puts out your standard iPad power. This is sized fairly well to slide. I can just, not with one hand, but you get the idea, pull up this little rubber flap on the case, slides into there, holds there all day, cable runs in, keeps it charged. Probably need a couple of those. Glare, I'm taking care of with the overlay. If you're inside and you want to use just your screen, it can be done. You might have to angle the iPad down from a light source like that you saw a moment ago. But honestly, it's a lot of stuff that you'll probably be amused with at first and not need. And then you'll realize that even real timecode slates, the only electronic thing on there is your time anyways, and they're going to just be doing that. Alright, so I went and got my iPod Touch. It's a 4th gen, and the reason I am skeptical about using it is I tried that first over my iPhone 5, and I think I discovered a little bit more latency than the iPhone. It's newer hardware, so I'm sure the iPhone performs better. Can be done with iPhone 4, but I'm not going to guarantee that it doesn't have bad latency over a newer unit. But I'm going to use it so I can explain how to send the iPad, the timecode, over a tethered iOS device. So right now, I do have this. Oh, exposure went terrible. I do have this tethered in. Don't mind this. My iPod was dead. I haven't used it forever. I'm just powering my iPod off the battery. So I got that wired in with the cable mentioned earlier, sending directly from the unit. If there's latency, don't call me on it. I don't use my iPhone 4 anymore. The latency is adjusted to my iPhone 5. So if you pause the video right now, that might be wrong. Not sure until I see it. But for the purposes of the video, I got Bluetooth on both of these units. What I would do is come here. There we go. See, it's receiving right now. That's why it says stop receiving. So since you know that it's receiving, go ahead and press send. We've chosen Bluetooth. I found that you can do it over Wi-Fi. It's a personal Wi-Fi between the two units, but Bluetooth seems to have less latency. So I choose that. That's ready. You come here, go sync, receive, Bluetooth, and we're just going to do just timecode. So it's working. Can't have both of them exposed apparently, but they are communicating. And there we go. And transfer complete. Press OK. Now synced with Justin's iPad. Press done. So now And once again, if they're off by a couple frames, don't call me on it. All the latency has been adjusted to my iPhone 5. They are different. The different hardware works differently. But anyway, that's an example. This guy is hardwired, so we know that he's not going to drift. Sorry, I'm not even looking. iPod is hardwired, not going to drift. Now sending Bluetooth to the iPad. And that would be your wireless solution. Now you got iPad that can move around set. Now keep in mind that if you get too far from the Bluetooth source, that maybe you're going to have to resync it. I would do, because I'm not using this anymore, since we have that all finalized. Let's go ahead and put that back on. Go ahead and do that.